Hey everyone, it's Spurs Rail 96 here. Hope you're doing well out there. Welcome to another Train Sim World news video. Today, Dovetail Games have revealed the next piece of content coming to the game. It's the first route since the launch of Train Sim World 5. The route in question is the Phälzische Lugwidsbahn, which goes from Mannheim to Kaiserslautern. It will be available on January the 30th, 2025 for all platforms. Sadly, at full price, which is ridiculous considering there is no new rolling stock at all. This is the second route in Train Sim World's history that has no new rolling stock, no new electric multiple units, no new locomotives, not even any new freight wagons or coaches or cab car, for goodness sake. So, let me remind you that it is at full price. That is €36, £30 in the United Kingdom, and $40 in the United States of America. So let's get into it, shall we? So the route itself. The route is based, surprise, surprise, in the early 2010s. It's a historically important main line. The Phälzische Lugwidsbahn was built in sections throughout the mid-1800s. The line originally terminated on the western side of the Rhine at Lugwidsbahn, but was quickly extended over the eastern bank to Mannheim, followed eventually by the movement of the former station to create a seamless through line. The line has two distinct halves over the total length of 65 kilometers. It kind of feels like, just looking at the route map and going by what Dovetail say, it reminds me of the Semmeringbahn route in Austria, where you almost like have two different experiences. The first half, which goes from Mannheim to Neustadt, is pretty much level track, straight and reasonably quick. Immediately after Neustadt Hauptbahnhof, the tone of the line changes completely. There's a wall of forest which punctuates apparently the start of tight curves and close-up valleys, and it's pretty steep and slow. Not too slow, like the Semmeringbahn route, but slower than what you would have experienced going from Mannheim to Neustadt. So the rails, which results in the rails gradually making their way further west to Kaiserslautern. Mannheim Hauptbahnhof station is the second largest traffic hub in southwestern Germany and hosts a variety of services, from local S-Bahn to Intercity Express. This reflects Mannheim's status as the second largest city in Baden-Württemberg. At the other end of the line is the historic and cultural town of Kaiserslautern, near the Palatinate Forest. Along the way line 14 intermediate stations, including Neustadt Hauptbahnhof and Frankenstein station, near to where the Schlossberg Tunnel passes under the Frankenstein Tunnel. So the route sounds quite interesting, to be fair. I mean, I really liked the Semmeringbahn route from a route perspective. Granted, the scenery was a bit hit and miss. There were some good bits, there were some bad bits. As Dovetail, it's what we've come to expect. Hopefully, the route scenery is a little bit better, considering the rolling stock. Like I said at the start of the video. So if the scenery gets or if the scenery is above average for Dovetail, then I'll be reasonably happy, but it still doesn't excuse the high price. Let's turn our attention to the trains, which are included in the Phälzische Lugwidsbahn that have been seen in previous Train Sim World add-ons, which will result in a busy and varied scene at some of the route's principal stations, as was the case in the early 2010s. Some of the trains, I think just two, have received updates and improvements over previous versions seen in other Train Sim World add-ons. Running the bulk of the timetabled services is the DBBR 425 electric multiple unit, servicing S-Bahn passengers between Mannheim and Kaiserslautern. This electric multiple unit has been worked on over its previous versions, with a number of simulation elements improved to the secondary air system, including air suspension and the air-powered sanders. The electric multiple unit also comes in a Deutsche Bahn red S-Bahn Rhein-Neckar livery to represent the area for the route add-on. Next up is the DBBR 406 ICE 3M electric multiple unit, which was first introduced to the Schnellfahrstrecke Curl to Arcad route 4 years ago. Good grief, that was a route that was... Did it came with the launch of Train Sim 2? I think it did. God, how time flies. These high-speed trains, capable of 330 kilometers per hour, are widely used across Germany and across borders into neighbouring countries such as France, Belgium and the Netherlands. For Phälzische Lugwidsbahn, this train has been improved to bring it up to the standards of the DBBR 403 ICE 3 electric multiple unit, seen in the longest train sim world so far, Schnellfahrstrecke Kassel to Würzburg, with particular attention given to the way the train performs under braking. It's a bit concerning that they don't mention any changes or improvements to sound. Would be nice if they maybe not add new sounds, but maybe just tweak some of the sounds to make it sound, more realistic, a bit better. But there we go. And finally, completing the set, which is probably the biggest joke of them all, is the DBBR 111 from the recent Train Sim World 5 gameplay pack, which was launched last month. Really annoys me this, because the 111, which came out a year ago, was okay. It was a nice change, driving some classic traction. I have no problems with it. What annoys me is that they've launched a gameplay pack where the only thing they've changed is the pantograph, and that version, with just the pantograph changed, is included with this route. There is no changes to the Doppelstockwagen coaches, or the cab car, in terms of physics, in terms of sounds, or no, like I said at the start of the video, no new rolling stock at all for these locomotives and multiple units to haul or be, see on your travels. That's what's really disappointing. So, yeah, I'll touch on a little bit on the 111. It utilizes a tap changer control system with both manual and semi-automatic input, bringing a different style of operations to seen on contemporary locomotives. But yeah, no new multiple units or locomotives. None of them. It's really a big letdown, especially the price. This is the second route now in the last year where we've had really nothing new to a route, in terms of multiple units, locomotives and that kind of thing. There is some tweaks here and there, I appreciate that, but it's just disappointing. It really, really is. And I imagine German fans or people that appreciate German content, or German content is the number one thing for them, they're going to be disappointed. And I am as well. So, there we go. Let's touch on the timetable. They seem to have gone to town with the timetable. A timetable depicting a variety of services from local to express and passenger to freight. Players with other add-ons in their collection will be able to see AI and operate additional playable services along the route. And just touching on the freight quickly, hauling the freight will be the DBBR 185.2 or 185 in Deutsche Bahn or Railian red livery, because there's, I don't think, any tweaks to that one either. So the timetable, certainly in terms of layers, is reasonably interesting, especially considering I'm mainly focused on timetables in this game. So the 425 operates S-Bahn services across the route, with playable S1 and S2 services running the full length of the route from Mannheim to Kaiserslautern. S3 and S4 services are also playable, running between Mannheim Hauptbahnhof and Schifferstadt. All S1 and S2 services skip Schifferstadt. This is to reflect the status of services during a construction timetable where engineering works have impacted services, apparently, which is a nice touch. For the DBBR 406 ICE 3M, that is representing services, intercity express services, running between Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof or Main Hauptbahnhof and Paris across the whole of the route between Mannheim and Kaiserslautern, before heading out of the map as AI at either end. For the DBBR 185, it operates all freight services across the route, and the DBBR 111 services specific Regional Express 7 passenger services that stop at Mannheim. There are 4 of these Regional Express 7 services that operate during the day, 2 in each direction. Wow. So let's touch on the service layers, finally. So there is a stack of layers, as you would expect for a German route these days in Train Sim World. There's additional freight services utilizing freight wagons from multiple Train Sim World routes, all hauled by the DBBR 185. The rail pool, BR 185, and the DBBR 193 substitute in from the Taranto-Rant route and the Kaiserslautern Frankfurt to Fluder respectively. The DBBR 363 Shunter, which hauls short freight across parts of the route. The DBBR 612 diesel multiple unit from Taranto Ramp operates regional express trains between Schifferstadt and Lugwidsbahn Hauptbahnhof. The DBBR 101 locomotive operates intercity services along the route. It uses the original DBBR 101 locomotive add-on, and not the ludicrously expensive but excellent 101 expert version from TSG. The DBBR 411 ICET from the Kaiserslautern route operates one intercity service in each direction. In addition, rail tour services utilizing, surprisingly and pleasantly surprisingly, is the TGV duplex. About time it's seen some light for a change on another route. It will run 2 of the Frankfurt main Hauptbahnhof to Paris services that the IC3 does not. Unfortunately, it will be AI, I think, only, which is very frustrating. There are also AI services using the DBBR 642 from the main Taubahn, which will also be seen. Players can keep an eye out for the development of the Mittenwaldbahn, the historic Austrian route that's being made by TSG. That will be interesting because there will apparently be a rail tour layer for Rheinstrecker's DBBR 103, which will be included, that utilizes the Rheingold intercity coaches from TSG's upcoming route. This layer will be available if all relevant routes are owned. Stay tuned for more details. This is a joke to me. There are some known issues that will be released with this route. Can you believe that? You know, the fact they've actually admitted that there are issues with the route, and they can't, or they don't want to delay it because they say beyond the point of certification whereby the release date is fixed. That's just, to me, that's unacceptable. The fact that they know there's issues with it and they don't want to pull it from release, because I think the MBTA commuter was delayed, right? For like some significant issues. So why can't this route be pulled? Is it because of the money dovetail? I bet it is. Either way, the issues are, I can't believe this, they're actually admitting it. Off-world PIS destinations that may not be displayed correctly. Some additional AI services for the DBBR 425 ICE3M and DBBR 642 from the main Taubahn route have not yet been implemented at Mannheim, Neustadt and Kaiserslautern stations. Playable and AI layers for the DBBR 628 from Niedertalbahn have not yet been implemented. So what's the point even adding a picture of it, for goodness sake? That completely, it's something, mislead, that's the word, mislead. It completely misleads people, that. The 628 will run from various places like Kaiserslautern, Neustadt and Schifferstadt, all converging at Lugwidsbahn Hauptbahnhof before heading out of the map in the direction of BASF. I don't know what that is, or what it stands for. They run towards BASF station in the early morning and away in the evening, but this station will not form part of the in-game route. We will look to address these issues in the post-release patch, and our teams will communicate a day once this has been confirmed. That's insane. The 628 particularly. I mean, they've got the AI layers, and the playable services, it seems like set. You know, they know what they're going to do with it, but they're not gonna. It's not going to be included or layered in to the timetable from day one because because it's not it's not ready. Yet they put a picture of it, immediately misleading people, thinking, oh yeah, I can get this multiple unit and take it out for a spin on this route. That'll be cool. Well, you can't from day one. I mean, goodness me knows how long it will take for a post-release patch. I mean, I don't know. It could take a day, a week, month, a year. You never know with Dovetail. But yeah, overall, it's nowhere near worth full price. Absolutely nowhere near worth. I'd be surprised. I will be surprised if it results in good sales. I won't be surprised if this very quickly goes on a sale in the next, I don't know, month or so. Because this is a bit of a joke. The route looks promising, I must say. It sounds quite interesting. But the fact there's no new rolling stock, like even, goodness me, coaches and freight wagons, and also the fact that they've admitted that there's going to be some bits and pieces with the timetable that aren't going to be ready for the launch, and yet they'll happily proceed to launch it day one at full price. If you can delay a route Dovetail once, I'm pretty sure you could do it again. But maybe it's the people at the top of the company making them release it to the certified time. So I don't know, getting the money rolling in. That's just my view. But yeah, it's a shame. I really wanted to like it, but fortunately not. Get it on a discount. That's what I'd say, unless you are a fan of German stuff. It's your number one thing. It's the only thing you care about in Train Sim World, or you live near the route in Germany, or operate the route, work there, whatever. Yeah, it's a shame. But there we go, that's just my views. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you'd enjoyed this video, then feel free to hit the thumbs up button below. And if you are watching for the first time, I'd appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.